Hi everyone, and today I'm going to be sharing with you my top 5 tech annoyances. Now, first on my list, number 5 is various submenus in programs. Now, it doesn't matter whether it's on Android or Windows. The fact is that there's just so many options that there's these drop-down menus that have multiple options, even listed twice in some cases, just under some sort of different name. Now, it's not necessarily the fault of the programmers that made these software programs, but it's just the fact that there's not an intuitive way to present so many options to the user. Moving on to number 4, temporary internet speeds. Now, I experience this at home and sometimes on my phone with Verizon 4G LTE. And what it is basically you run a speed test and you get the full speeds that you're quoted, but when you go to download a file, you downloaded about a tenth of the actual speed that you got during the speed test. This is because you get burst internet speeds. Now, what that is basically they will provide you with the speed that's quoted for a temporary amount of time. Sometimes it's about a minute, sometimes it's even less than that. And so that means people who are downloading large files over extended periods of time won't get the benefit of those full speeds. Now, this annoys me because I'm a person who uploads a lot of videos, downloads a lot of stuff as well, and it's really hard on stuff like that. Now, this is sort of connected to another problem I have, which is when I'm streaming video. Now, when I download a video file, it will download in less than the length of the video, no problem. But then when I go to stream Netflix, which is highly compressed anyway, it has trouble streaming and needs to stop to buffer. Moving on to number 3, ads on Hulu Plus. Now, this annoys me because I pay for Hulu Plus, right? And they show me just as many ads as I get on regular Hulu. Now, given I do get to watch it on other devices such as the Roku box and my phone, except first of all, their app is not available on Android 2.3, so I cannot watch it on my phone. When I watch on Roku, it has that streaming troubles that I mentioned with the internet connection earlier. And they still try to show me ads, and sometimes they won't even load. They can't buffer because of the way my internet connection is working out. Moving on to number 2, routers. Now, these pretty much annoy me. Okay, I've been through so many routers in the past couple of months. So, our house was running off of, like, maybe 7 or 8 year old Netgear routers. Everything was working okay. Things didn't quite stream correctly when we were streaming YouTube on iOS devices in particular. And I thought, okay, so if we get a new router, that should fix the problems, right? Well, I guess I was wrong. So, we got this new router, and there's even more problems than we had before, in addition to the previously mentioned problems. Now, in certain areas of the house, on a desktop computer, YouTube will stream fine. But on mobile devices like iPod Touch and stuff like that, Netflix, YouTube cannot stream just fine. Now, I know it's not the device in particular, because if I use my phone as a mobile hotspot, everything works out just fine. Now, when I connect to the router, I don't know if it's an incompatibility between Apple and Netgear, or like it's just the internet service provider acting kind of funny, but it is pretty annoying sometimes. Next on the list, the number 1 thing that annoys me with technology, my Droid Charge. This phone works good sometimes. Most of the time it doesn't, though. See, part of the problem is the lack of support. About a month after I bought it, Verizon stopped supporting it. Now, they have released some updates which cripple it even further, and there's not a particular way to go back from those updates. So I've experimented with installing ROMs and stuff like that. Now, these custom ROMs also bring down other functions of the phone with it. For example, HDMI output and other stuff like that, that is sort of hardware specific. Now, the problem I have with the Droid Charge, it could be something different every day. So sometimes I have trouble dialing the phone. The phone app won't open, or once I dial the number, it quits out of the app and crashes. Now, that's a problem considering this thing is a phone. The Droid Charge has a 1 GHz single-core Qualcomm Snapdragon processor. Now, at the time this phone was released, this seemed to be the best option, considering I also wanted 4G LTE and those other functions like that. Now, supposedly in newer versions of Android, like 4.2 Jelly Bean, these things are managed a lot better, and they're sort of made for performance, if you will, and they sort of take into account what's the front app that is running on your phone right now, and they give that the most resources. Now, Android 2.3 does not manage it like that. it is sort of set up to be where you can kind of manage it, but when I go into the task manager that is built into the phone, it shows that nothing is running. So I will go into a third-party task killer like Advanced Task Killer, and there'll be like 20 things running. Now, I think it's okay for stuff to stay in the memory, it loads faster and stuff like that, but I feel like it's not implemented well to do that, and stuff isn't getting cleared out of the RAM like it's supposed to. So there's no obvious solution to these problems. All the ROMs that are out there are sort of like 2 years old, not really dealing with these problems, because people have just moved on from this phone, and it's not really helping me out anymore. Now, of course, a week after I bought this phone, a phone called the Droid Bionic came out. 4G LTE, dual-core processor, twice as much memory, and it was just overall better, and I would have still been able to comfortably use that phone today. But that is a good point to wrap up this video, so thanks for watching. If you have tech things that annoy you, feel free to leave them in the comments. And with that, thanks for watching, and I'll see you again soon with another video.